Ottish.com. Learn anywhere, anytime.
Okay, different methods of teaching grammar. They may be related to inductive and deductive, implicit and explicit, form focused and conscious and consciousness raising They may be related to discrete item instruction, discrete item and or integrated instruction of grammar with the help of task or the practice based activities. Task based or practice based methods of teaching grammar. There are different methods and we can select a particular method considering the nature of the subject matter we need to teach, I mean nature of content, the context of teaching, students' linguistic proficiency, or we can determine a particular method by looking at the objectives of the lesson. Okay, now I start the discussion with inductive method of teaching grammar. Inductive method of teaching grammar. In inductive method of teaching grammar, teacher involves students in excessive practice. Teacher involves in focused as well as free practice of grammar items. So, teacher induce students to realize grammar rules. Inductive method मा के हुँदो रहेछ त teacher induces students, teacher induces student. Induces means to bring out, to cause happen something. Students, teacher induces students to realize grammar rules without providing any explicit form of explanation. Any explicit form of explanation over the rules of language. So it is, student centered method in which learners are exposed with sufficient examples. They get text as well as the contextual use of particular grammar items. They observe the specific pattern employed in the text. They find the examples over there and they will try to assimilate the rules from the examples. They will try to understand what specific structure or what specific grammar item is used in the given situations by observing or by practicing that very item. So it is what? It is teaching with the help of examples. So teaching from examples. Inductive instruction is entirely based on examples. Student encounter as many examples as possible. They observe the pattern of doing something else. Teacher simply raise students' attention on the use of particular language pattern and they will discover. They will identify. It is based on, it is also known as discovery or inquiry based method. It is based on discovery or it is what? Inquiry based method, because learners will be involved in a series of trial and error. They will be involved in a series of trial and error and learn something else. The basic principle of this method, one more sentence, you can pick it up. Okay. About inductive method is the basic principle. The basic principle is that, in inductive method, basic principle is that language data is best persist. That language, LG means language, data is best, language data is best processed inductively, PROCESSED, processed inductively. Language data is best processed inductively without resource to translation. Without resource to translation of rule. Without resource to translation of rules. It discourages translation. It discourages rules memorization. It encourages for realization. Encourages students for understanding and reflection. That's why in inductive teaching, students, they encounter various examples, then conscious discovery of the grammar is then directed on the basis of example. Teacher ask a few questions. Teacher may ask a few questions. How something is written there, what specific article is used there and why, like this. Which prepositions are used before the place, before the time in the given text. Now you see and find out the locative preposition or temporal preposition or something else like that. Students are led to discover. They are involved to discover and formulate the rules. So encounter the examples and at the end they will be able to derive or generate the rules from the examples. Alright. So it follows general to specific. Inductive is general to specific. They get the authentic information. Yes, they get the authentic information and they move to. Is it so? No. It is specific to general. Specific means actual use of language and the rules. So it is okay. Specific to general. It follows this sort of order in learning, or concrete to abstract. Concrete means they see the exact application of proper rule, and abstract means they realize the rule and remember. Some procedures, we find some procedures of teaching grammar by using inductive approach or inductive method. अब तपाईहरुले इन्डक्टिभली ग्रामर पढाउँदा मुख्यतया के गर्नुहुन्छ त? के गर्दा राम्रो हुन्छ? लेट्स सी. Class begins with concrete or real examples, real concepts. We can provide examples individually or in the form of text. For example, a passage is given to the students. In that passage, they see the excessive use of grammar item that you wanna teach. You ask them to underline, to observe and see the situation of selecting appropriate grammar forms. Okay, and students are exposed with authentic text. They are exposed with authentic text. Authentic means they find the natural use of language. Okay, students are encouraged to observe the patterns and guided properly to acquire the rules. They properly observe the pattern of language used, and after they observe, they are guided to identify or point out the specific rules used there. Similarly, students are provided with more examples and explanation. teacher can give some more example, teacher can provide some more explanation, in-depth explanation, more examples or explanations. It creates the opportunity in the context of language use. I mean, teacher helps a student to find, teacher creates more opportunities to practice, to exercise the grammar item until they, until they understand or until they generalize or generate the rules from the examples. So learners are provided with more examples and explanation. Teacher has to create as many opportunities as possible, and teacher should guide learners properly and support them with feedback, because feedback plays key role to generalize. Feedback plays key role to generalize the rule. Okay. In inductive instruction, teachers can use demonstration technique, or we can use demonstration, role play, some inducing activities like elicitation, simulation. This can be adopted as the part of techniques, and it is always learner centered. It is really useful to the young learners, very young learners, and even the intermediate learners. Inductive method is communicative as it provides learners to learn in collaborative way, to learn by doing different activities. Though it is a bit time consuming, it rates higher level of efficacy. I means inductive method is consistent with the principles of learning from specific to general, from concrete to abstract. Okay.